Right, I picked this up from boot sale today. Didn't pay a lot for it, but I had a good look around it before I actually picked it up, because I wanted to know how much it's going to cost me to put it back together properly. And the things to check, make sure everything works. I mean, this bulletproof shield's a bit dodgy, so that's going to be looked at. It does work, but it's not very crisp. The roof drops well below that. See, that's no good. I know what that is though. There's no ejector seat. Front guns, they work, they're fine. And your windscreen, there's no cracks in it, so that can be cleaned up. But there is a problem with this windscreen, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. There's also part of the bumper missing, so you can't repair that. The only thing to do with that is to get a new front bumper, which you can get from a place called Model Supplies. They supply all sorts of things like that. Right, the problem with the roof, and I'll show you what it is. That's what, when the roof settles down, it's supposed to stop there. Well, what it is a piece missing off of there, and I'll show you what piece it is on an old screen I've got there. That's the piece that's missing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that piece off of this old screen and put it onto this screen, replace it onto that, and that should deal with that problem. And then I'll obviously put this in my jar of washing up liquid and leave it and let it get all the grime off of it. But it's handy to keep old spare parts like this, because you can take things off of them to repair stuff. You've got to be very meticulous when you're doing it, but it can be done. But for now, I didn't think it was a bad buy actually. So the next stage, we're going to drill out these rivets. So let's get on with that now. Right, I've made a start. I've started a little bit there just to help me drill. What you do, just get your drill, and very carefully. There's not a lot of light here, I'm trying to show you it with a bit of light, but get your drill. Let's see. Get your drill on the top. A few little jabs to start with. And you only want to drill down so far. You don't want to go too far, you just want enough to get the head of the rivet off. If you go too far, you might ruin the actual rivet post. Now that'll do for that. See? Just need a little bit more actually. So let's do just a tad more. I think that should do it actually, you don't want to go too far. Same on the other side. Brush to start with. Once you've got it, you know it's going in there, then just go a bit deeper. And that should be enough for that side. And what you do next, you change your drill bit, that on the side, and then you get a bigger drill bit like this. Nice thicker, and this is just to shave the top of the rivet head off. And you put that on there. And this is careful, you've got to be careful now with this because you don't want to ruin your base plate. Toothbrush like that, that's what you need. Just a little bit on the top there. Yeah, see now that is going to pop off of there easy now. And then do the same on the other end. Just to get that, See, normally I'd hold this in my hand to do this, but I can't do that and show you properly on the video how to do it. That looks about perfect there. Next job. I get my little dentistry tool now. It's a cheap dentist kit I bought, and this is ideal for prying off the bottom of base plates, because you can get right into the thing. Well, normally you can. And you just get it in there. It's pretty tight, this one, actually. Perhaps I'll try the other end first. There we go. So there's only that little bit of shaving there. That's all that was holding it on. And once you've done that, it should just lift up. So just gradually wedge it up and work it off. And there you go. And there's, look at the state of the inside of that. That needs a lot of work. It's in a right mess. What's the suspension like? Oh, well, I'll tell you what, that's cracking. These are usually gone. There's usually one of these gone somewhere, but no, this one seems to be in perfect condition. That's usually a part that breaks quite easily. Many a time I've had to buy new suspension just because that part's gone, because you can't get that right again. That's working perfectly. Well, that's a godsend. These are in good shape as well. See, when you open up one of these, it gives you a good chance to inspect it all inside and make sure, you know, everything's okay, like, you know, to go back. But you've got to be very careful not to lose anything. Like, for instance, these number plates. You mustn't lose them. Put them aside for now. Take your exhaust. So all these little bits you want to put in a little pot somewhere, so that you don't lose anything. I'll clean that out of the way. I'll clean that up in a minute. Now this is a piece. See, that's totally, well, it's totally knackered really. You're going to need a new one of them. But the trouble is, when you buy these repro ones, there's a hell of a lot of work you've got to do. The hose are never big enough. You've got to file stuff down here, you've got to file bits in there to make them fit properly into the car and everything. They are a pain when you get them, but they take a lot of fettling to get them to fit properly. Let's take the guns out. All this, see, all these bits just need cleaning up really. There's nothing wrong with them, there's rubbish. Back bumper's alright. See, you can use that again. And then you've got obviously the shield. That can be cleaned up. Take your seating unit out. Look at the mess. Needs a new seat. I think the spring looks okay. This needs a new seat. That's all. So I need a new seating unit for this thing. Take your back plate out, but that'll probably all clean up. And then you've got your roof piece. I'm gonna have to get all this paint off, and there's a bit that's missing there, that. But as I said, you put that there. You've got your roof, that's got to be all cleaned up. Don't worry about all this paint, that'll go. And you see the difference between the two there, look. That piece is not there, so I'm going to have to take that off of there and put it on there. Get all the screen cleaned up, and that screen could be used again. But first of all, I'm going to have to put this one in my washing machine thing, my little jar of soap, to loosen all this paint up, so I can get it off. But it will, like I say, it will come off eventually. take a few, I don't know what sort of paint it is, but it's more like an inky type substance to me. But it will come off. I've had worse. So that's all you can do, really. It's persevere, and I better take the little number plate at the back. I don't want to lose that one. It's a bit more awkward to come out this one, but it does come out. There he is. There. You've got to make sure you take them out, because when this goes in the caustic soda, you don't want to lose any of them bits. But also these posts have got to be drilled out yet, and they're very narrow on this one. That's the only trouble doing the 270. The posts are actually so narrow. I usually use a 1mm drill on these. Other cars I use 2mm, but this one is so, you know, to get it right as well, you've got to have a really steady eye to do these, because they slip off, and once you slip off of it you can ruin it, and you can't put a new rivet in then. But anyway, that's about it for now. See you in the next part. Right then, I've got this one all sorted out now. It's all been sprayed up. I managed to get these little rivet posts all drilled out, as you can see, and it's come out quite nice. All I've done was stuck it in the bath, as you saw in the 261 video earlier. Got all the grime off. I put that number plate back in because he's a bit fiddly to put in, that one. So I'll put the number plate back in, as you can see. I've done the roof, and also the glass unit. I ended up using another glass unit because, I mean, this one was a better one. It had the piece on it. I was going to take that piece off and put it onto the one that come with the car, but the one that come with the car, after I cleaned it, there was a very fine crack right down the screen, and I thought, well, I can't use that. But the problem with this one, it wasn't too bad screen wise, it was just that there was a piece missing off of here, what keeps the roof from dropping down. So I just put another piece onto that and made it the same as the other side. Look, see, just got a piece of old windscreen and cut it and bent it and whatever, and I've made another pillar for the roof. So that's a repaired screen, but it's an original screen, so it fits better. And the seating unit, I managed to get all the muck that was in here. As you can see, there's still traces of it underneath. All that red dye that was on it, or purple dye, I managed to get that out of the way. Got a new man put in there, new seating unit, seating the arms all been done. That works alright now. So that's about it really. I've left the bottom original actually, because that was not too bad. It was pretty good nick. So I thought there was no point ripping it apart, and well, I took it apart to obviously clean the wheels up and things, you know, and the levers. But I didn't spray it because it looked pretty good. And I thought it looked better if it was left original, because it's got the original proper colour of it as well, and it's not in too bad condition at all. So that was left. So anyway, apart from that, oh, there is one thing. If you ever buy one, a lot of the times when you buy one of these, it's always one of these ears broke off. But when you buy a new one, they're never the same, and you've got to do a lot of grinding and, well, all sorts to get these to fit in, because they won't fit straight in when you buy them. What you got to do, you got to keep the old one and have a look down where the grooves are, how wide, because these is never wide enough for your guns to pop through. And also the number plate part, you've got to get a little drill, very tiny drill, only a 1mm, and be very careful with your Dremel, because you can go right through it. And where the number plate pins sit, you've got to drill a bit more of this out, down through here. I don't know if you can see it, but down through there you've got to drill a bit more of that out, down through there like that, and that little bit, see that little groove? So that's where your number plate sits in there. And then also you need to put your disc thing on your Dremel, because you'll find that always around in this piece here, there's always something stopping it from pushing right up into the body of the car when you fit it. So you've got to like grind a bit of that away as well, but be very careful, because these here are very fragile, and I've bought one before and I've been gutted because something's broke off of it. And this is the worst. When you go to file a bit more of that out, always go back that way towards the number plate. Don't go back this way, because there's not a lot holding that piece on there. That is very flimsy. That'll go. If you grind too much back off of here, that will just fall off, and well, you'll be back to square one, and you'll have one with just one piece on again, and then you'll have to buy another one. So I always do that by hand, and you just get the file and just file a bit of that out in the middle there and in there until you get it right for your guns to slide through nice and easy. And then there's another thing, this can go on. These holes are never big enough. They're always too far. They won't sort of line up properly. You've got to cut back to about here. Just leave like a mill there on the end. If you look on the original one, you've only got, well, just over a mill there, on that. So you've got to grind that back to about the same as that, and then that'll drop right on then. But anyway, let's get to putting it together. Well then, it's much the same as the 261 really. Get your roof, drop your roof into the little slots, put your glass in, that's your roof, that's that part done. Pretty straightforward, same as 261 to start with. This is. I'll move that number plate back a bit, so you might get in the way. Make sure he's still in these grooves, he's alright. Right, then you get your get your guns as before, just slot them through the hole like that, and push the spring down slightly. Now this is the different part, because on this part, this is where your grill comes in. You've got to fiddle around a bit. You've got to, that goes underneath. That goes underneath there, and you've got to make sure your guns is lined up in where I told you to file them bits out. And this is where you can test it before you put it together really, to see that your guns is sliding in and out without any friction. Because if they're catching any of this and you haven't filed it out, then they're not going to pop out properly. But you've got to like put that on like that, and you've got to drop it down like that, so that the guns, this part of the guns is underneath the silver part, you know, of your new front bumper. That's the only difference with this one than the 261. The 261, you just put your guns in and that's it, it's done, because you haven't got the grill part to worry about. Right, the next part, oh, I'll tell you what I have forgotten, is the number plate in the front. You got to make sure he's the right way up. Now, this is a fiddly bugger to get in, this one. Just drop it like that. Get a pair of tweezers or something nice and there. Just let it fall into the front of the number plate like that. And that's gone into them. That's why you got to make sure them bits are drilled out a bit more, because there's always a bit of flash left on there when it comes out the mold from the model place, and they never clean it up properly. You got to fiddle around and feckle around with everything before you can get it fit properly. Right, now you got your seating unit. And I always, when you buy a new seat, cut that hole out a bit bigger, because when you put your man in, his bottom feet is supposed to, I've got the man here, he's supposed to sit in there, and that holds him in. If I'm getting him to sit in there. Oh, we'll do it when he's in, oh there he is, he's sat in there, but I'll show you when we've got the car together. Right, so then, make sure you've got your back bar there. As before with the 261, just drop it in the same way as you would the 261. And then, like I said, put a bit of oil on this bit. Watch oil. Same with the 261. If I drop that in like that, I'll actually put a bit there now because it's easier to get at now. And then that makes your shield. I think that's what you want. Just a little squirt like that. Just a little dribble. Like I said, it makes your shield come up more crisp. And then your bumper, make sure you get your bumper the right way round. You can always tell that you got the lump on the bottom. That's where, make sure the whole part is on the gap, because that's where your exhaust pipe drops into that. So make sure that's on the bottom. Put your exhaust in there like that. Just drop it in. It all sits in there. Oh, I'll pull my guns out. Put that back, right. And then you just get, as before, keep that little lever out slightly. That back one, where the back wheel is. Keep it out slightly. Now this one here, it's got two rivets. The 261 clips in the front, and then you just drop the back down. But this one just drops right on top, because you've got your two rivet posts. So you just drop it on like that. Right, and then before, so it's gone together alright. As before, make sure everything works before you put any rivets in. That works. Yeah, see the oil's working, nice and crisp. And then make sure your guns are working. They're working. And then what you do, just get your glue and you put your rivets in. Once you got your rivets in, it's happy days. Right, I've put the rivets in. As you can see, they're stuck nicely now. Everything's nice, and just make sure everything works again. Yeah, that's nice and springy. That all the roof works, and everything. And there we go. And you put your little man on top that, and he sits in his seat. And that's it, really. As before, you paint your, I don't think you don't paint the headlights on this one. You just, all you got to do is do your back lights. Paint your back lights up red and orange or whatever. But you don't have to paint anything else, because obviously you've got your silver bumper there and you've got the silver one on the front. But that's all there is to it. And that's another one saved. And that was the boot sale buy. All back to his best. So if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. You just need a bit of patience and a bit of time, and that's what you end up with. They don't make them like this anymore, so You know, everything's repairable if you got the patience to do it. So thanks for watching. I'll try and get back with another video as soon as I can.